The first part is to just don't think about it. So I'm gonna stop thinking about how am I gonna do it and just do it. Just do it. All right, let's get into it. I will see. Thank you for stopping by at Stockings Art. My name is Shanique, and on today's episode, we will be using charcoal to create the effect of a blanket on paper. This is my first time actually drawing fabric, so we're gonna go through the process of how to accomplish that, and let's see how it turned out. I can't wait. I can't wait. So I'm gonna go ahead and share tips with you as we go through the process, and hopefully, it turns out exactly as I do have it in my mind. Because first, in order to accomplish it, you got to see it, and I see it in my mind. I've never done it before. And the first part is to just don't think about it. So I'm gonna stop thinking about how am I gonna do it and just do it. Just do it. All right, let's get into it. I will see you on the other side. I will see you on the other side. And I'll be seeing you at the end of the video. So like, subscribe, comment, share any questions, feedback, or concern. I got you. See you in a bit. The reference picture I'm using for this drawing is a photo I took of my son when he was a baby. He was a few months old. And I've always wanted to recreate this image, but it always seems so challenging. And I guess now I'm up to the challenge. Sometimes when I'm working on a piece and just to see things from a different perspective, I turn the image or my drawing upside down. It's just to look at life or look at it upside down, and it make me see things that I don't normally see when I'm looking at it the normal way. So you should give that a try sometimes. Where do I start? Where do I start? I'm gonna start with here under his head. So let's just kind of tint this thing a little bit. Can I give it some shade? And I'm gonna put my music on. And don't think about it. Just get into it. So I went ahead and I complete the drawing of his face because he's inside of the blanket. And now I'm working on the fabric. I always just stick to working on the portrait. So whenever I'm doing a drawing, I always ask myself, what is it that I want the viewer to focus on? And I'll spend a lot of time just working on that area. So this piece is a bit different because it is not just about the face, it's going to be about the background as well. I can't really leave that blank. I can't just shade it out or just blend it out. I actually have to go in and do the texture of the blanket. And that's the whole focus and the whole reason of doing this piece. I want to challenge myself to create the illusion of the blanket. So I did the first layer of charcoal, and it is like priming the paper. So it's kind of like painting where you first prime, do the priming, then you apply the paint. So this is similar to that. I primed the paper by just putting down the first layer of charcoal, and I'm gonna go ahead and build up on that because at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's just doing the same thing over and over again. I am using the charcoal powder to fill in all the dark and light areas. This is something that you want to do whenever you're working on a drawing. You want to first go in and just make note of your dark and light areas because that will keep you on track. And here with the blanket, I am just going through and covering all the areas that's going to be the darkest. Because the blanket, if I remember in color, it's like a blue and white blanket. But once I change it to black and white, the blue area becomes black and the white area stays white. So I I'm just going through and filling it in. On the blanket there are a lot of folds, and I want to create the illusion of these folds because he's all snuggled into the blanket and I am pulling it away from him and he's pulling it back towards him. And it was like we're playing peekaboo. This is where his hand is coming out of the blanket. And I am just building up the layers of charcoal because right where the blanket rests on is harm. It's gonna be darker than everywhere else, and this side of the portrait or drawing is pretty dark because there's no light really in this area. So I have to keep building up the charcoal, and that is a process. I can go extremely dark all at once, but you don't want that. Just in case if I have to take it out, the best way is to just build it up. And that's one thing I really enjoy about drawing. It's not a rushing game, it's all about just trusting the process, being patient, and go through it. For me, it's a meditative process. So at the end of the day, after a long day, I'll just wait until everyone go to sleep. I'll put my earphone on and just relax and draw the night away. I did the outline of the blanket a little too dark. So I'm using the kneadable eraser to lift it out and just to create the transition from the blanket to his face. And on this area, it is lighter than where the fold is or where my finger is going into the blanket. And I also had to go back in with a pencil eraser just to clean it out. In most cases, I preferred to use like a charcoal stick or a watercolor pencil to do my sketches, but on this one I just went in with the charcoal pencil because that was right next to me and that left some art lines. To create the texture of the blanket, I'm using a mixture of technique or blending tools. I'm going in with the brush, and with the brush that I'm using, it don't have a lot of hair. And I'm also using the blending stump as well as the eraser. I'm just going through seeing which one will give me the best effect. Again, this is just a trial and error. I'm just experimenting. And from this piece, I will definitely learn some technique of like what to do, what not to do. And the next time around, I'll be able to get it better. I am using the blending stump in a circular motion. I am not pressing hard on it because I don't want to leave hard mark. And this area of the blanket, it's not the lightest area, but there are some shadows on it. And I am creating just a foundation for the fur. I haven't figured out yet how I'm going to do that, but I'm just winging it at this moment. I try to create the textures of the fur using the eraser. Um, it was working, but I didn't really like it, so I kind of went off to do something else. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me work on the end, and then I'll come back to the blanket. Maybe I'll get some idea later. Something will hit me like out of nowhere. I don't want to rest my hand on the drawing, so I got this grand idea to use my ruler as a barrier to kind of allow me to work on the drawing and also, just rest in my hand, because this is my wrists do get tired. And it's all about just being creative. There are things that I can definitely buy and use, but sometimes what's the fun in that? It's all about just being creative. Hey, be creative. Let's figure this out. Let's see how it's going to work. And it finally dawned on me. Why don't I just use the white pencil, the white charcoal pencil, to create the texture, the highlights of the fur on the blanket? And here I go. The white charcoal pencil alone wasn't gonna cut it, so I went for the next best thing, white pastel, to create the fullness of the fold on the blanket. This is fun, very fun. The beauty of it is that every tool gives a different effect. So the pencil will give me a different effect than just the chalk or the pastel. The powder, it's a different effect. The blending stump, the brush, it all depends on the texture that I want and what what I want to convey. So for the blanket, it's definitely a mixture of tools. I am working on the area where the blanket meets a shirt, and there is a shadow from the edge of the blanket where it's resting on is onesie, and I am attempting to recreate that to show the illusion of it. And I am just going in with a pencil as well as the brush. I've used this brush so many times that I really don't know what happened to its hair, but over time they kind of just fell out, or maybe I cut it at some point. But it's one of my favorite brush to use. And here it's just a lighter part of the blanket, and I'm using the chart to kind of create that fullness, then going in with the pencil to create just the fur. Now it's game time. Time to go all in and get in the really dark areas and just have some fun. It depends on the depth or darkness of the charcoal that I want to, like how dark I want to go with the powder. You will see that I change brushes. With this brush, I most time use it for to create outlines and edges. Somehow I realized that if I kind of twirl the brush, like, it's doing a little dance and just twirl it around, it also gives me a really nice effect on recreating the blanket. So there I go again, another idea, and I'm just chasing ideas like they're butterflies. Here I am again with the white charcoal pencil. I've never seen white charcoal, but hey. Honestly, I think this is just like white pastel. They called charcoal pencil, but it is definitely my go-to for highlights, and it helps to create just smooth lines and very easy to create highlights and to blend and just subtle shading. And whenever it comes to me creating depth, like now I'm going over the dark areas that I shade in with the powder, the charcoal powder, but I can go in with a pencil and just create little lines, just little lines to make it seem like it's actually fur on the blanket. Drawing is so much fun. It is not only a creative outlet, but it there are numerous benefits. It's great for your mind, body, your spirit, and it helps to improve my, not just mine, but your and an eye coordination, um, boost memory, and also relieve stress, and kind of push me to get out of my comfort zone and just to try things. And I realized that once I get out of my mind and get more into reality, like in the moment, stop questioning myself, I'll figure things out. Like, look at this blanket, I'm just recreating a blanket. And this is something like I learned just doing this drawing, and it will definitely help me to do more. I definitely can't wait to draw something else similar to this. I think I'm just gonna go on and do maybe draw some fur, a squirrel, or something, and just have some fun with it. So, if you're the type of person who is into drawing or whatever your creative outlet is, just make some time to do that because it is very relaxing. And in this world today, we need that thing to just unplug and slow down. And well, I've been babbling on and on and on and on. I guess that's it for this video. I will see you on the next episode. Peace.